you guys know, I have been sparse on social media because shit has been nuts. Um, and not even like, I mean, I'm just saying, I've said this before, I think on our disability around the fire disability support chats, which by the way, the next one is this Monday. I will let you guys know more about that. Um, but I just get overwhelmed by social media very easily. So when I logged on today to try to find some stories, well, yesterday, I suppose, to try to find some stories, I'm several days late to this. And I'm actually I'm not glad about the story at all. But I'm glad to actually be late to the story because I'm hoping just by continuing to talk about it because it has appeared to have somewhat fallen out of the news cycle down there in Southern California, which to me is fucking bonkers. But y'all, um, there's a story again out of San Bernardino. Well, in that area, right? It's kind of stressful to even talk about it. So let me give a trigger warning really quick because this involves domestic violence. This involves police violence. This involves police killing and a domestic violence killing as well. So about 10 days ago, 9, 10 days ago, um, a father killed his wife and abducted his daughter, his 15-year-old daughter. The father proceeds to engage with law enforcement in a shootout, right? The daughter is killed, 15 years old. Her name is Savannah Graziano. The daughter gets killed when, by all accounts, she is able to break free from her father and attempts, for her father, by the way, who kidnapped her at gunpoint. Let's be clear about that. And there was an Amber Alert out for this child, right? After her father murdered her mother, he kidnapped her. There was an Amber Alert out for her. And then when police finally caught up to them, there was a shootout in which the girl was able to break free from her dad and attempted to run to police for help, and they gunned her down. And then tried to frame her as though she had been an accomplice along with her father, sort of like they're trying to make it, they were trying to frame it as some kind of, the vibes that I was getting, they meaning the police and the media in Southern California, to me, were trying to frame it as some sort of icky Bonnie and Clyde, father and daughter, will go out in a blaze of glory. I don't think that that is the case in this story at all. And the more information that has come out about this, it is very obvious that police clearly murdered a kidnapping victim and someone who had witnessed an unspeakable murder as a result of domestic violence. So I want to look at this. And again, let me be clear here because y'all know when I like the local news packages, I'll tell you. But I did not like I did not like this local news package. And in fact, I really felt as if like every story that I tried to, find about this, at least that was covered from a mainstream angle. And let me be clear, the reason sometimes that I do select mainstream outlets to use as examples or to let them tell their version of the story is to also serve as a critique of the media and the ways in which propaganda is accepted and the ways in which the media will themselves like be public relations for the cops, tell the police's lies, repeat the police's lies, won't really question the police about what specifically happened. They will just say police say, right? They will attribute the police lies to the police and keep it fucking pushing, sprinkle some crack, nothing to see here. But I want us to take a look at this package. I think this is from ABC7. Do I have that credited properly? Sorry. Yes, this is from ABC7. I'm not very impressed. I'm not very impressed. I am not very impressed with the way ABC7 in Los Angeles does they thug thizzle. So let's take a look at this again. This is from like the last week of September. So this is like September 29th ish. somewhere in there. And then we're going to see how the story has already changed from what the media initially reported. Let's take a look.
Very disturbing. Just moments ago, we heard from San Bernardino County Sheriff Dicus revealing some new information about that investigation into the shootout with his deputies, telling us for the first time that 15-year-old girl who was the subject of the Amber Alert was a willing and active participant in the shooting during that high-speed chase with his deputies. Kelly Lane knelt before a memorial of flowers and candles, where Anthony Graziano shot and killed his estranged wife, Tracy Martinez. Lane says he knew the family was struggling.
They were going through separation, divorce, and just life's everyday life was getting heavy on him.
Fontana police say Graziano and Martinez were going through a divorce and that he left the couple's home a month or two prior with their 15-year-old daughter, Savannah. They say the two had been living out of his truck and in motels.
She was a sweet kid. She's her daddy's little girl.
Graziano and his daughter were shot and killed following a gun battle with authorities in Hesperia on Tuesday. Questions remain about the 15-year-old's role in the shootout.
Based on the information, evidence suggests that Savannah Graziano was a participant in shooting at our deputies.
Police issued an Amber Alert after Graziano killed the mother of his children on Monday, but it's still not clear if the teen went willingly or was forced to leave with her father. Fontana police say they found her younger brother at home unharmed.
Good kids. They were just in a broken home is all. There's no excuse for what he did. I can never justify it, but it didn't have to end that way.
I mean, so you heard the way in which that has been framed. It was not clear whether or not the teen left voluntarily with her father or not. I don't quite understand why anybody would even assume that. And I think the reason the reporter even said that is because that's what the fucking police said, right? Because let me be clear here, that small clip that they played from the San Bernardino sheriff, he said that they were not sure whether or not Savannah was an active participant. And that language is very important, okay? Because initially police said that they found a rifle in the car of the father and Savannah. But it turns out they just found a handgun. They found one gun, right? A single gun. And they claimed that they thought Savannah was firing upon them, but the gun was found in proximity to the father. So how the fuck could she have been firing when she had attempted to get out of the car to run to safety? Okay. And big up to Judd Lagoon, who pointed this out on Twitter. Judd says, second, the sheriff says that he referred the officer-involved shooting to the California Department of Justice under Law AB 1506. And again, the San Bernardino sheriff posted a very short clip to Twitter sullying this young lady. He said, as a result, what the sheriff said is that under Law AB 1506, this shooting now has to be referred to the California Department of Justice. But what is AB 1506? Well, AB 1506 requires the referral when an officer shoots an unarmed civilian. Okay? So if this shooting, this officer killing, is being referred under this specific law per the San Bernardino sheriff, so you're already telling us that you know she wasn't armed. So you literally shot and killed a 15-year-old kidnapping victim who was trying to run to police for help. You just gunned her down. And instead of ownership, taking accountability, admitting up to a mistake, a horrific, fatal, tragic mistake, an enormous mistake that cannot be rectified, but a mistake nonetheless, or intentional. I can't see why they would intentionally murder this 15-year-old, but they're just bloodlusty. You know what I'm saying? These are bloodthirsty ghouls. They just wake up every day hoping to go to work to be able to shoot somebody so they can go on paid administrative leave, aka paid vacation, right? If the police already know that she was unarmed, why are they saying, well, we don't know if she went willingly, or we don't know? The story has already changed, guys. The story has already changed. I'm so sorry. Now I have to turn all the way around. The story has changed. So let's look at that NBC Los Angeles piece. If we could pull that article up, please, because again, the levels of discombobulation here are ginormous. And by the way, I'm noticing people in Southern California have said, and they are trying to keep Savannah Graziano's name out there because the media cycle has already moved on. Like, there does not appear to be a lot of follow up. When I was looking for this, I was finding, way more stories that happened or way more coverage about it 8 days ago. But now that there has been new revelations, oh well, let's keep that a little low. But anywho, NBC Los Angeles covered this. So, teen killed in law enforcement shootout was likely unarmed, a report says. I'm just very curious where the media outcry is for the fact that sheriff's deputies gunned down an unarmed 15-year-old who had been a victim of a major crime herself. Savannah Graziano, the 15-year-old killed in the shootout between her father and law enforcement officers responding to her Amber Alert on Tuesday, was likely unarmed when she ran towards San Bernardino County deputies, according to a report. According to the Los Angeles Times, a preliminary investigation by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department was turned over to the California Attorney General's office. Those preliminary findings and the state's top prosecutor take the investigation over on Thursday. The California AG's office had already been notified that they may qualify to take over the investigation under Assembly Bill 1506, which we just discussed. The bill, which went into effect on July 1st of last year, dictates state investigations into police shootings. Under the bill, the California Department of Justice is required to investigate and review for potential criminal liability an officer involved shooting, particularly when the shooting results in the death of an unarmed civilian. Okay? So they're hopefully going to be on this. The AG's office was told that the shootout in Hesperia may fit that description due to the girl's death, the Times reported, meaning that she was unarmed when police fired at her. I have not seen how many times she was shot. And I bet you that bit of information is being deliberately held back. The AG's office was told that the shootout in Hesperia may fit that description. NBC4 reached out to the Attorney General's office for comment on the preliminary investigation and the Times report. On Wednesday, the San Bernardino County Sheriff said in a video statement posted to Twitter that, quote, evidence suggests that Savannah Graziano was a participant in shooting at our deputies. Sheriff Shannon D. Discus did not share any details about the evidence cited. What the fuck does that even mean? How do you be a participant in a shootout if you ain't got a gun? If you ain't got a gun, how the fuck are you a participant? The deadly series of events unfolded Monday after when authorities said that Savannah Graziano was kidnapped by her father, Anthony Graziano, that morning. The 45-year-old man allegedly shot Savannah's mother, his ex-wife, near an elementary school in Fontana. The domestic violence incident left 45-year-old Tracy Martinez tragically dead. So after Graziano, Anthony, that is, fled from the scene with his daughter inside of the truck when Tracy was killed, according to an investigation, authorities issued an Amber Alert afterwards. I don't like the insinuation made by the San Bernardino's sheriff. I don't understand, like, and let's be clear here. This is, again, back to the very demonic and devilish nature of police in general. Like, they will do anything to protect their institution. They will do anything to protect their department. They will even slander and defame a murdered 15-year-old girl who herself was the victim of a crime, whom believed, I would imagine Savannah did, that if she ran to police, that they were there to help her. Surely they knew who she was. The reason that why police even stopped or attempted to stop the car her father was driving in the first place is because the tag checked back as the vehicle that was connected to the Amber Alert. So you mean these fucking goofy ass Keystone cops didn't realize that the teenage girl who fit the description of the missing child in the Amber Alert couldn't have been the same person? Now, what the police allege is that Savannah was wearing tactical gear, that she was wearing some sort of body armor and a helmet. Well, what the fuck's that got to do with her hands? If she didn't have a gun on, if she didn't have a gun, if she didn't have anything in her hands, which does not sound as though she did. So it's reason enough to shoot and kill at her because she's wearing body armor. Who's to say that her father didn't order her to put that shit on? Who's to say that after murdering her mother, that again, Savannah herself wasn't forcibly kidnapped and that she was not forcibly made to wear that tactical gear? The wearing of the tactical gear is enough to shoot at her. And again, the lack of information coming from the police and I would assume the media's lack of due diligence in finding this out. I don't understand how come we don't know how many times Savannah was shot. Now, there was a video clip that I did find, but because, I could not verify it for certain that it was what the poster said it was, I didn't grab it. But basically, the video clip that I did see was that of a motorist who was traveling along the highway around the same time and was able to capture on camera, on the cell phone camera, the shootout, or at least snatches of the shootout. There were so many bullets being fired, and I bet you this child was shot an inordinate amount of times, and that's why that detail has not been released. The police are trying to make themselves look good in the situation or make her look bad, which I don't see how more deplorable and disgusting, and let me say it again, demonic you can be to try to malign a 15-year-old girl who had just experienced a tremendous amount of trauma, and her last moments were traumatic, inflicted by the police, but by extension by her father. Her father put her in that position to even be kidnapped and be pursued by armed police. But at the end of the day, the police were there to quote unquote do their job, which I would hope mean bring Savannah back home safe and sound as much as possible. But they couldn't even do that. They had to shoot her and the father. By the way, the father was killed in this shootout as well. But Savannah was the one who managed to get away and was trying to find and pursue help. And she was met with bullets.